Now this is a fairly interesting little contraption. The theory is this scoop on the front grabs the weed, pulls it up and dumps it into the skip. Now, considering this has just come up from the Retford Worksop Boat Club, there's not a huge amount of weed in there. In fact, not much at all. Look at this, morning in Retford on whatever day it is, Tuesday day I think. And we got sunshine. Well, leaving Retford, home of the proof of concept. Does look posh, but they let us in. And we ate there last night, and I had a mixed grill and managed to finish it. So a lovely few days on the way up and on the way back in Retford. What a lovely little town. So today, oh, there's a story attached to today. I think I'll save that for a separate video. Unsurprisingly, it involves the Canal and River Trust being incompetent and inept to the point of being almost criminally liable. So that will be a story for later in its own right, and I'm going to send that around all the waterway media and get the British Marine Federation involved. Can't believe just every time we have to deal with the Canal and River Trust, they will fuck something up, and this time very, very seriously, leaving us exceptionally vulnerable. But right, I'm not going to let that spoil the wonderful experience that has been Retford and Aldi. Right, back to enjoying this beautiful, almost like summer day. Sunshine. This lock is a very good example of why you should stay forward of that marker, even though it looks like it's a long way from the lock gates. That's the normal sill upon which your boat would very, very easily get stuck. However, this one has got extra little sillets upon which the back of your boat could easily get stuck. So if wedged on there, I'm putting my hand over the top to shade it, if wedged there, the back of the boat stays up, the front of the boat goes down, and as I said before, very quickly becomes a submarine. They're not designed to be submarines. Here's a salutary tale and warning for anybody who still has the slightest remnants of trust in the ability of the Canal and River Trust to be able to do a job properly without causing disruption and risk and harm to the boating community. About 4 weeks ago, I had a query regarding our licence. So I phoned the Canal and River Trust, who then informed me they couldn't speak to me as my name wasn't listed on the account relating to this boat. I asked them what name would be suitable and gave them the name of a director, and it transpired they didn't have any names associated with this account, so couldn't talk to anybody. That's after 12 years of having a leisure business licence on this vessel. So I contacted someone called Neil Ashford, who's the Northern licensing something, and asked what was going on. He then informed me that my name and the director's name would be added as contact names to the account relating to this boat. However, about 3 weeks ago, I got an email from Do Not Reply at Canal River Trust saying, "We've been notified that you've sold your boat. We will remove your details associated with it." So I contacted Neil Ashford again, asking him what was going on, and have a response from him, which I've kept. It's a good job as well, saying these are merely system generated notifications. You can ignore them. We're away on this boat at the moment. 2 days ago, I got another email saying, further to our previous email, your details have now been removed and your licence has been revoked as of the 31st of August. We received that email on the 6th of September. It was dated the 6th of September. It's now the 8th of September. We noticed this morning that they have actually refunded or put back into the original account that we used to pay for the licence a proportion relating to the unused licence. So I took Neil Ashford at his word and ignored these system generated emails, the consequences of which are that as of the 1st of September, it's now the 8th of September, this boat officially has not been licensed. As a consequence of not being licensed, the insurance policy we have is invalid. So for the last 8 days, we haven't had insurance cover. The consequences of that don't bear thinking about. During those 8 days, we've done the tidal River Trent. During those 8 days, had we been involved in a collision, which does happen, we've never had one, but doesn't mean to say we won't, we wouldn't have been insured. In the event of causing damage to another vessel, we wouldn't have been insured. God forbid, in the event of any incident causing harm or loss of life, we would not have been insured. As a consequence of some system error within Canal and River Trust. I don't believe that that is acceptable, and would caution anybody who may be given advice to ignore messages that are system generated not to do so. I contacted the Canal and River Trust 8 hours ago, was told that they would investigate it as a matter of urgency. And I've heard nothing since. I've sent an email and left various messages. I've had no contact from the Canal and River Trust. As things currently stand, I believe the legal position to be that we do not have a licence, and as a consequence we have no insurance cover. I believe that that is wholly negligent of the Canal and River Trust for not having systems that are fit for purpose. There has been no change of ownership of this boat. All that was needed was add a contact name to the account. The consequences of what has happened, again, shouldn't need to state this, is we have been left exposed to multiple vulnerabilities by virtue of no longer being insured. I would urge anybody who watches this video, please share it as far and wide as possible to perhaps help somebody else avoid finding themselves in the same situation. I'm now going to try and contact the Canal and River Trust again, but I have very, very little faith in having any positive resolution to this in the immediate future. It's not often I shoot pornography, but on this occasion I just couldn't resist. Chilling in the evening breeze. It's the morning of day 12. What is it today? Wednesday. God, I hope so. Yeah, Wednesday, 9th of September. On the final little stretch of the Chesterfield Canal from wherever we moored. I'm not actually sure where it was. It seemed like in the middle of nowhere. Probably wasn't. We're a couple of miles outside West Stockwith. We've got a couple more locks to do. Then we're going to fill up with diesel. And the plan is that we're booked in to leave West Stockwith and go downstream on the Trent and into Kidby Lock. So we're booked out of West Stockwith at 1 o'clock. All being well, sometime between 3:30 past-ish, we should be going into Kidby. However, there may very well be an issue with that, down to Canal and River Trust having ever so slightly fucked admin systems. We shall see, boys and girls. We shall see. So this looks like, sort of looks like, they're in the process of building a marina. Difficult to tell, but it definitely is sort of marina shaped, albeit not currently connected to this bit of water. Interesting to see how that pans out. So this was the little stretch where it reminded me of home because of the addition of a couple of little skeletons sat beneath the shade of a tree. Can't imagine where they got that idea from. Big Tonka toy. Can't quite figure this place out, if I'm honest. that's where over there they've built what looks to be a new marina at some point. It might very well be a case of, well, they started it before COVID and then COVID pulled the plug on everything, as COVID has done. I don't think there's a single area of life that COVID-19 has not touched and affected. I would say in a negative way, but that's possibly not true for everything. COVID may yet have some positive outcomes. However, when you're in the middle of a kind of crisis, which is what it is, I think it's difficult to pick out what those potential positives might be. And I think that's now down to us, because the politicians won't. All the politicians will do, as we have seen, is find ways to line their own pockets and that of their mates. True love, who says romance is dead, eh? And it's been just so blatant with all the contracts that have been given to like Dominic Cummings' pals and family and friends. The level of corruption now, they don't even bother trying to hide it. And there should be concerns there for all of us. I think we are going to at some point need to have a bit of a people's revolution and take all these people out as they did in the French Revolution and separate their immoral heads from their immoral bodies on Madame la Guillotine. You tend not to have too many repeat offenders when it comes to government corruption when you adopt that particular strategy. And I would never ever generally wish harm upon anybody apart from people who have now institutionally raped and pillaged this country for their own personal gain. Oh look, a little bit of politics.